G'day folks, welcome back to the channel. Well, winter's finally here. I've got a weekend at home, so I thought I'd go over a little bit of gear and do a review on two of my favourite slings. So we're going to talk rifle slings today. If you watch my channel a bit, you'll know that I do prefer the kind of the horizontal style sling. So I've got, a long time ago I did one with the Booney branded one. This one here I've got today is called the Stalker Sling. It's from Moroka 30. But I've also got a different take on a sling system. This one is called the Zero QR sling, and it's more pack orientated. For the guys that have used the horizontal slings, you'll notice that when you wear a pack, sometimes the pack load straps can really drive that down into your neck. So I'm going to give you two setups here that they're my favourite setups, and I'm going to go through a few different ways, what it'll work with, what it won't work with, different rifle setups, etc. So we'll get into it. So let's look at the Stalker sling and its components to start with. So it does have a front and a rear. You'll notice that one side looks a bit different from the other. One's just a malleable piece of webbing, and the other one's got some rigid ends to it. The one with the rigid ends and the bump stop is the rear. These are ambidextrous. To change it from left-handed to right-handed, so right now this one is right-handed because of the curve, you can simply undo both ends and just switch them around, and you'll make it left-handed to right-handed. It's no biggie, but a lot of guys I do notice wearing their slings, they're actually wearing them backwards. So the curve goes on the opposite side. So this is now set up for a lefty. So it'll shape the shape of my neck on this side, and obviously the rifle will be on the left. And conversely, for me, being right-handed, I want to switch that around so that it's facing the right end, so back. That's the way it was. Now, it might seem simple if you've done it before, but believe it or not, I get asked this almost on a daily basis. How do I attach this to my rifle? They don't come with rifle sling swivels. So the little sling swivel that we all know, each rifle, well, most rifles are pretty common and they'll take that simple swivel. But there is lots of rifles like, I know Mauser's a little bit wider, so it depends on the style, how you're going to set it up. But for most guys out there that are using a standard kind of rifle, like hunting style rifle with this shaped stock, are going to have the little sling swivel studs already mounted on their rifle, and it's just a matter of getting your favourite sling swivels and threading. So I'll give you an example. Just grab the green loop like that. Just make sure you're in the middle like so. Now you want to take, just pinch it, you want to take your swivel loop, pass it through, and then pop it over the top like so, and just pull it down to a neat knot like that. That is it. And now we're ready to attach that to the front of the rifle. So all my rifles here are unloaded. Always check that before I start any videos, and of course before I put them away. Basically, you feed, this stays on top, feed that over, and you're just going to connect that to your rifle swivel. Easy peasy Japanesey. And then repeat for the back. So if this one goes over the top, so sneak it through there, make sure you've got no twist so it's all nice and straight. And then attach it. And of course you lock them in, but that's it. Mounted. Right hand up. So to wear it, obviously goes over. Now I like to adjust the sling. You've got adjustment here, front and back, to get it level, so the pad's on your shoulder. Now I like to adjust it so that you've got to get used to the motion to use this a little bit. If you've got big, loose, baggy clothing, you're going to find that when you draw your rifle up, the back of the rifle, it could get snagged on here, or it's going to get bunched up in your clothing and it's going to get frustrating for you. So if it's too high and too tight, you're going to get caught here. And if it's too low, if you've got it really, really low, you're going to find that when you walk it, it's going to move around a lot and be annoying. So getting the adjustment for your purpose is important. And there's a bit of a knack to it. When you want to pull this up to use your rifle, you want to try and push it forward first and then up. You can see there I'm a little bit tight here, so I'm going to back this off a bit and just play on getting the tension that's just right. So just added an inch on both sides. So now it's going to sit a bit lower and I should be able to just pull that up. So it's almost clearing. It's still got caught a little bit on me. I'm going to open that up a bit more on the back first. So now, feeling comfortable like that, I want to push forward and up. So that's much better. And if you get the tension just right, you'll notice that it's like having an extra hand out here. You can slide this other hand back a little bit and you can really square your shoulders up and it will give you a better off-hand support. So when I'm shooting with no sling, I find that with a sling I'm much more stable and I will reach out a bit further if I've got that sling set up. So that's a good point to note, is that it will improve your offhand shooting if you're running a sling style like this. Now this rifle sling is particularly good if you're running a backpack or a bino rig that is that's nice and slim and doesn't have any load lifters or anything. So something like this, or a standard kind of backpack that just sits on your shoulders and not much above. I'll give you a little look at what I mean. So you can see there that's pretty flat on my shoulders. Geez, a bit fatter since I wore this one last. So just make sure that's inside like so. Chuck it over the shoulder and you're set. One of the big advantages with a stalker sling is that, or any horizontal carry system, is that it does protect your scope a lot from both weather and you falling over. It's kind of under your wing there. So I find on a rainy day or it's snowing, stuff like that, or you push back through a lot of debris, you're not getting all that junk in the front of your objective like when the rifle is vertical. So that's a big pro in a horizontal sling as opposed to some others. Oh, hello, got my Django dog here. Hey, yeah, mate, finished your bone already? So you can see with this style backpack, it sits across and it distributes the weight of the rifle across both shoulders. So it's a very comfy way to spend the day with your rifle. And you've got it pretty much ready to go. Having the rifle that is fast to acquire, I find it does win you a bit of game as opposed to trying to get it off the shoulder and spin it around and reorientate it. And it's a big movement when you get it off the shoulder. Here, if you're having one of those deer where the deer has seen you and you've seen it at the same time, you can make that movement without really changing your profile very much, and you can get on, you can do it nice and slow, or you can come up and do it nice and fast. But it does win you a lot of game on that front. So I think this stuff, or particularly for me, I found that my strike ratio does go up a fair bit when running this style rifle sling. Now, built into this stalker sling is a special clip up here on the pad. So if you do want to use this sling in a backpacking situation, you can remove this padded section. Now it looks like it's closed buckle. I'll give you a close-up of this, and there is a bit of a knack to it. So this little key here, if you push down on the key and have it in the middle at the same time twisting it, be careful not to over twist it. It's a little bit tricky to get the knack of it, but they do open up. So what that allows you to do is, if you grab your favourite pack that's got a load strap on it, you can then attach this up onto your load strap of your pack, and then you can attach the back one to the other side, and you can have the rifle on, and then you can just use that to attach your rifle to and fro. So that's one way that I've been using this rifle sling for some time now, and I find that very comfortable because it puts a lot of the weight onto your frame. So Maroka 30's taken it one step further beyond this for the guys that are running a backpack, because if you put a pack on, I'll just show you, I've got a few packs here, but let me just show you one. So one of the downsides of a horizontal sling is that when you've got a backpack on and you're going to spend the day walking with a pack like this, it has the tendency, when you put it over your shoulder, now that I have a load lifter going up, you can see it doesn't get right over the back of my shoulder. And what that ends up doing, this is forcing this into my neck now. So it's up high on my neck, and it's not going to take long before that's going to get very uncomfortable and probably give me a sore neck. So that's why having that attachment here, getting it off here and up to this load strap, so this would come to the front, is advantageous. So Rogue 30's taking it one step further. For the guys that are going to be in your pack all day, we've made a specific QR sling. This is the Zero QR system, and it comprises of two parts. There's a gun boot and there's the quick release part. So I'm going to attach that to a pack, and I'm going to show you how this works and how it carries. So I'll just go over compatibility real quick, because I get asked this a fair bit as well. This system, this Stalker sling, it is built for the quintessential hunting rifle, which pretty much looks like that. It's going to have a couple of mounting points, a simple paddle stock. So something that's looking like this is going to be ideal. The Tikkas, the Sarkos, all those kind of rifles, it's not going to be a problem with. Length doesn't really matter. You will find they vary in your mounting point. So sometimes if you've got a mounting point that's really far forward, you can find that you don't have much room for this to move. So that is one thing to keep in mind. But if you've got something a little bit more unique, like for instance this Sauer, it has a mounting point here, but it's got some mounting points on the side, so that's not really going to work. And up here, the mounting point, over the barrel, you get it to work okay, but you'll find that it's not ideal on a setup like this where you have the barrel. So the guys with the pumps, stuff like that, unless you can mount it in the front back here on the fore end, you're going to find out in the barrel it's going to be moving around a fair bit. And also, if we go a bit further over to, I get asked a lot for the long range guys and the chassis type rifles. For instance, the two that I've got here, bipod compatibility will vary. If you've got a bipod that has a sling swivel here, it's not bad, but I recommend having it back here just to get that center of mass. If you've got it down here, it will rock around a bit. And then if you've got stocks like this doesn't have any mounting points on it, but there's lots of places for it to get hung up in here. So it will work, you'll get away with it, you'll be able to make do, but it isn't particularly designed for a rifle like that. You might be better off with a 1 point or more of your traditional military style slings. Same with like the GRS stocks, they've got a lot of spots where they can get snagged in there. I do use a sling lake from time to time out when I'm varminting. It does distribute the weight a lot better. It makes these easy to carry, especially if you're carrying other things like a lamp, if you're doing foxing, stuff like that. So yeah, you just have to have a play around with it. Obviously this doesn't have any mounting points here, so it's not going to work on that style rifle. You will have to get another swivel stud mounted in here for you to connect to. Alright, so let's have a closer look at the QR sling and how to attach it to a pack. So you'll find that most hunting packs, well certainly my favourite hunting packs, have got a piece of webbing across here so that you can use your favourite pouches, etc. And nearly all the packs on the market are going to use some kind of load strap up high. So for instance, got an Outdoorsman there, waist belt, load strap. You've got an EXO pack here, so same thing. It's got its waist belt down there, load strap up high. So all these packs are going to be compatible, no worries at all. Move down to something like this. It's a pretty technical pack. It's got a load strap up high, but there's nowhere down the bottom, so you're going to have to get creative. If you've got a pack that doesn't have some kind of waist strap here, you might have to stitch something on or come up with your own kind of setup there. So there's a few different ones. Pretty popular packs like the Osprey, lots of guys using those. They've got a little bit of webbing under there, so same thing, you could probably get away with attaching it to something like this, but ideally, if you just want it quick and easy, this has been made to be as universal as possible. It's very, very easy to mount. So all you do, let's start with the bottom end, the gun boot. So the gun boot has got a bit of Velcro that opens up. It's as simple as putting it through the waist belt and popping over, done. There's adjustability in it for how far down you want it, like is in height, and then the cant of it, so whether you want it forward or if you're carrying it flat. it's pretty forgiving. You can get away with having it, you know, just kind of anywhere along that face. Now, it's a bit counterintuitive in that you think you would want this back as far as possible. And when you do that, it makes the rifle open up and kind of stick out to the side. So you're actually better off having it on your hip, and that's also your center of mass, so that's going to distribute the weight of the rifle at its best. Now with this system, unlike the Stalker sling that goes across your body, so from your opposite shoulder to opposite hip, this is going to stay on the same side. So I'm right-handed, I'm mounting it over here on the right. Again, it is ambidextrous. So gumboot is mounted, that's easy done. And let's have a closer look at the rest of this. We'll just move the Stalker sling out the way. So it comprises of a few components there. It's got a built-in sling swivel. It's got a removable 25mm buckle. And then it's got a ripcord here. Now, the ripcord pulls apart these two components. That's how we're gonna utilize that speed quick release system. Inside here there's a magnet, it's impregnated inside the polymer there. So when they get close to each other, they'll just snap back into place. So the first thing to do is mount this part to your rifle. And you're not going to need to mount anything to the rear on this. So if you've got a rifle like some of those other ones, this might suit you better, where you've just got your front mount. So pretty simple again, we just got to make sure you get the orientation right for it. It's going to go that way. It's got a nice bit of hypal on there to protect your rifle from scratching. You just pop that sling swivel through, snap it into place, and that's mounted. It's as easy as that. And then we're going to mount the other part to our backpack. So at the top, you've got those two little loops. All we're going to do is grab the right hand side load lifter from your pack, open it up, thread it through, like so. This allows you to slide it up and down, put your load lifter back on, however you like it. That part's done. Now I'm ready to chuck the pack on. Alright, so gun boot, center of mass. I've got my ripcord here. I'm just going to pick up the rifle, put your gumboot in, grab the front buckle there. Just make sure you get any twists out as best you can. And I'm just going to connect it here. So this can be adjusted for carry. So obviously if you want it kind of down out front, or you know, if that thicker scrub, you might pull it up higher. But it's just going to hang here out front. So you can just rest your arm on it. It's great if you've got binos, you can be nice and stable with it. And then there's two ways to get out of it. If you want to be kind of stealthy, again, if that deer has spotted you and you've seen it and you need to be really nice and quiet about it, you can just get it out the same way just by doing that. It's nice and quiet. You can pop it out and you're on. The beauty of this system is you can put it back away without having to take your pack off, which is one of the big features I like. There's a lot of systems on the market out there. They've got a quick release system, but it requires you to take your whole pack off, which is very annoying, especially if you're in the rhythm. Or the main way to do it, it's just a short 10mm tug on that and your rifle's out and it's up. So two ways to get in and out of it. It distributes the weight beautifully, easy to install. It's easy to have this for your hike in, for instance, and then just switch over to the Stalker sling, because you can just plug in and have your Stalker sling back on. So I've usually got both systems in there, and you'll get used to putting that back up in place. You just learn where that is. It's a little bit of a knack to this. It doesn't need to be ripped down to get it off. It's only going to move about 10mm, so just a little pull on that and it will come out and your rifle is up. It's easy as that. The one really big advantage with this is the distribution. Like this rifle's about 5 kilos, being timber. It's pretty heavy. Now I've measured this and it's about a 75% reduction from what's on my shoulder. There's virtually no weight on my shoulder on that, so it's not going to give me a sore neck. It virtually all goes down here onto the hip, and then it's distributed up onto that load arm, which is also driving down into the bottom of the frame on this pack. So it's a very comfy way to spend the day. In this situation, you've got your hands free, so you can use your binos, you can use your walking poles. It takes a little bit of getting used to having this out front, but once you've used it for a while, it's definitely the way I prefer to walk. Having things up front, if it's thick stuff, it just moves with you. You can move the bushes out of the way and just step through. It doesn't hinder you at all, and yeah, if you get this kind of set up so you're level right, you can just kind of fat arm it and walk around. It's a really comfortable way to do it, and the beauty of it is it's very universal. So it's not just, you know, for the proprietary built-in packs. It's trying to keep it as universal as possible so everyone can get one of these. So yeah, if you are after one of these, visit www.moroka30.com.au. This one's called the Zero QR Sling, and of course the other one, the Stalker Sling. There should be plenty available in stock there, so yeah, head on over to that, and if you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe if you like these videos. I've always got reviews and adventures coming up, so stay tuned, and yeah, I'll see you around, guys. Stay safe out there, happy hunting.